Hi and welcome to PolyOriginals with Fiona Abel-Smith. So for today's Polymer Clay session I thought we'd try something completely different. So I am simply going to make it up as I go along. So I'm going to call this one Ad Hoc Polymer Clay. And this came about as a result of a couple of weeks ago. I run a local Polymer Clay group as part of the British Polymer Clay Guild, and we run the South Midlands group in the UK. And I had a few Skinner blends, so I did a very quick demo of a cane for our group, which took me just a few minutes. And I must admit, I quite liked the outcome. And I had fun just making it up on the spot. And I thought, why don't I just occasionally do some ad hoc videos, which don't take me very long to do. And if it goes right, then fantastic, it'll be a great thing to do. And if it goes wrong, I will show you how I get out of when it goes wrong. So either way, hopefully a learning experience. So not a step-by-step, but I will talk you through everything I'm doing. And hopefully for those of you who often said they wonder how my mind works, might give you a little insight into that, we will see. So all I've done is I've got myself some polymer clay, as yet unconditioned. I'm going to not spend a lot of time on the technical issues and say just have fun making something up. But you can see here I've got 7 amounts, and I'm going to create like a light blue and a lighter blue of those two. But all of these amounts are 1/2 ounce or 14 gram blocks. And obviously where I've got the 2 colours, that would be 1/4 ounce or 7 grams of the colours. So for those of you who want to do the same, this is FIMO Soft. I've got white, lemon yellow, aqua white, apple green, raspberry, brilliant blue, peppermint and plum. But obviously all recognised brands of polymer clay will work equally well for this technique, and just choose whatever colours you want from that. By way of equipment, I'm not going to be using a lot. I have a tissue blade, I have a round roller, I have my cable needle, and I have a craft knife, and that's all I'm planning on using. The first thing I'm going to do is condition the clay. And by doing that, I'm going to cut it up into slices and use my pasta machine. If you don't have a pasta machine, then obviously you can just manipulate it in your hands just to condition it. And if you're unsure about conditioning clay, how to do it or why we do it, I will put the link to a video I have which tells you all about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is condition the clay. So I do have a pasta machine. It is dedicated to polymer clay use. And when I'm conditioning my clay and getting it into rough rectangular pieces, I will use a medium setting on my pasta machine. And on my pasta machine, 0 is thick and 9 is thin. And I generally condition my clay on setting number 3. If you don't have a pasta machine, you can simply stack layers of playing cards either side of your clay and roll it in between. And again, I'll put the details of the thicknesses in the details below this video. So the first thing to do is to get all of this clay conditioned in these 7 colours. There we go, the clay is all conditioned. I've just put it in very rough, as you can see, rectangular sheets, and this is how I would work at home when I'm doing things and experimenting. And I'm going to do a design very similar to the one I did when I did my very quick ad hoc demo for our local polymer clay group. And I did that because I was doing a little demo showing Skinner blends. So I'm planning on doing just 3 Skinner blends with some of these mixes, and then keeping 1 colour aside for an accent colour. So I like it when the accent colour is dark, so I'll put that on one side. And then I want a blend where we're going to go from one side to the other, and I can put the 3 colour mixes together, and I'll have one end of them actually making quite a nice mix and another end making a nice mix. So no sort of colour jarring or no colours put together, so that when they go very, very small, they're going to look muddy. I want something that's going to be nice. So we will probably do, let's keep the bluey ones, or the blue and pinky up to one end. So probably do Skinner blend with that. Let's do something like that, because that'll make a nice sort of peachy colour in the middle. And then if we do that and that, those 3 will sit to one side of the cane. These 3 will sit to the other side, because we've got a nice blend of the greens and the blues here. And those 3 will be nice together. And the purple can sit in between all of them and give some little highlights. And we'll start with this blend. And I'm just going to do a Skinner blend between all of those colours that I showed you. So the 3 Skinner blends. I'm going to do a very simple Skinner blend. I'm going to diagonally down both the pieces, put them back on top, put them together. So I've got that nice diagonal line, but I've done it in such a way that I've got a little bit showing either side, so I'll still have some of the raspberry and still some of the lemon yellow showing. A little bit of a roll. fold them in half, pinch at the bottom and put it back through the pasta machine. And obviously if you didn't have a pasta machine, this is where you'd put it between playing cards and just roll. If you're unsure about skinner blends and how to do them and want some tips and techniques, again, I've got a video, so I'll put links to that down below. So I have 4 layers of clay here. I have pinched the fold. It will go fold first through the pasta machine on a thicker setting number 2, because I've got the 4 layers, and each time I'll fold bottom to top until I've got a nice blend from one side through to the other, and that's all I'm going to do with these skinner blends for now. Okay, so here's the first blend done, from the raspberry through to the lemon. So the next one is the 2 blues, exactly the same, and repeat in the same way. And there's blend number 3. And then the next thing to do is I've got the plum or the purple colour, so I'm just going to put that through on quite a thin setting, so setting number 9. And I've already decided ahead of time that I would do, as I say, something very similar to what I did with the Polymer Clay group. And the Ad Hoc cane I did with that one, it was very much in my mind the last cane I did for you, the kite twist cane on YouTube, and for that I'd done little strips of clay along a skinner blend. So I want to keep that going because I quite liked how that came out. However, these are very even, and let's make them less even, because when you're working with skinner blends they don't always come out very similar sizes and shapes. So I'll leave that one as it is. So that was on setting number 2 and that height, but this one I'm going to fold back up, and I think I'm going to put it onto a thinner setting. So I'm going to try setting number 3, and I'm going to make it longer. And all I'm going to do to make it longer is, naturally, the pasta machine, as you keep passing it through, will start to spread it out across the width of the pasta machine. But you can also very gently just pull it longer each time you go through. If you pull too hard and it splits in half, no worries, just patch it together and put it back through. So I'll do that a couple of times until I have a longer piece that's taller than this piece. So there we go, it's now much taller, that's lovely. And for this piece, I think I'm going to make it just slightly shorter. So I'm going to put it back through the pasta machine on setting 2 again. And this time I'm going to push it in so it's shorter, just by concertinaing it slightly as we go. Don't want it a lot shorter, just a little shorter than this one. And once I've got it shorter, I'm then going to put it through on a thinner setting. So probably that was 2, that was 3. Let's do this on setting 4. So I get a longer, thinner piece, but it's shorter in height than this one. Okay, there we go. So we have got 3 blends, all in differing heights and sizes. And we've got a little bit of our purple here that we can add on to those as well. I'm going to add the purple to the darker side of each of our blends, so just move those slightly off the board to start with. Oh, that was lucky. That was just actually the right size, so that was good. So we can take a little piece of the purple, just a small strip, nothing too much. And we'll put him right along that bottom edge. Lovely. Just take off the excess, because I want as much purple as I can have. I'll do this one next, because I should just about have enough. Make that one slightly wider. So those 2 done, and I'll put that back through the pasta machine on setting number 9, so we can have a bit that's going to go on top of this one. So wider bit goes on that one, and that goes over there. Lovely. So we have our 3 skinner blends, and they've all got a little bit of the purple on them, and I've got a little bit of purple left, but I actually wanted more than that. So because I'm making this up as I go along, there's a little bit from something I was doing earlier. So I'm going to put that back through the pasta machine, get that nicely conditioned, because I want a nice long sausage, because we want to add a little bit of extra additional detail of the purple into our skinner blends. We will just roll it up, make sure there's no air trapped inside, and give it a roll. And I just want this to be really long and thin, just give us little sort of accent dots in amongst the rest of the pieces. Okay, there we go. So either by eye or on a measuring sheet, but I think I'm going to do it by eye today. This is my thinnest piece, so I'm going to cut that in 2. And I'm going to use one of those as a guide to then cut myself the other blends into even slices as well. So where there's excess, just chop off the excess. So I have 2 of those and 2 of those. And then we will have 1, 2. Oh, I might get 4. 3. Oh, yes, just about get 4. Oh, lovely. So I then have a little bit left here. So I'm just going to neaten that off. A little bit there. We'll neaten him off. And I'll put both of those, actually let's put a little bit of purple on that one again. I'll put both of those back through my pasta machine a long way down on setting number 9, and that can be a nice long thin strip. And then I can roll them up. So which way shall I do it? Let's do it with the purple on the inside for this one. Just roll, roll, roll. Lovely. And let's do the purple on the outside for this one. This is something I didn't do in the one I did with the group, so we'll just see how this works. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press them in and roll them along until they are the same width as our slices of Skinner blends. Same with this one. So once it's got to the right width, I will stop. So I've got my little inserts that I'm going to add into my slices, and we have our slices. So I know that I wanted to put the greens the other way around, because that's the way we wanted to do it. So we wanted the green, the yellow and the light blue all at one side. And then I'm just going to lay them down in preferably a sort of random. So I always find random difficult, but let's do that. Oh, we'll have 2 greens together, that's fine. So I now have a chunk of clay pieces together, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to, actually let's do it between these 2 green ones, just lift up the slices and let's lay some of these in, and we can also lay some of the purple dots in. You can actually take them apart if you want to. Let's put them sort of randomly here. Let's put one at the top here. One down the bottom. So as you can see, I am literally making this up as I go along. Let's put one in between those ones. So I'm trying to keep it fairly straight as I go, because I know I'm going to be kaleidoscoping these. So I want it to be as even as I can get from one end to the other. But we'll put one right at the top end here. And I think we can stop. We don't have to use it all up. Put those 2 back together. So now I have our lump of clay with all sorts of myriad colours in. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing down, trying to make sure I haven't got too much air blocked inside. So pressing in, and I'm actually just going to use a little bit of that on the end, and we'll just roll those over just to sort of get that point going down a bit. So I know I want to make a triangular cane, so I need to push this so this bit's flat and this bit is the point. And what I'm hoping is that it will buckle and bend. And what I want to try and make sure is that as I buckle and bend it, so I'm doing the same from this side all the way through to this side. So we buckle and bend. And just squidge it and push it and press it down on our work surface until we end up, and I'm just keeping a point on this end and just pressing the rest down so we're starting to go. And then I can turn it on its side and force it into a more of a triangular shape, and we will just keep going until we end up with a triangular shape. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing in along the length, making it more of a flat side, turning it on its side, doing the same, pressing it down. And this is what we call reducing a cane. As I press in, so it's getting longer. And I'm just keeping nice, even pressure all the way along. I'm also looking where I have a stripe to make sure it's staying relatively straight, because that will show what the pattern's like on the inside. And now I can start really pressing it down in a triangular shape. Each side, same amount of pressure. And I'll continue doing that until it's reduced down to the size I want, and I will use a measuring sheet for this, and this is one that's freely downloadable from www.printablepaper.net. I get the 4 squares to 1 inch. It is available in centimetres, and I simply laminate it so I can use it multiple times. And I will reduce this down until each side is only 1 inch in width. And before I get it right down to the size I want, I can never resist just cutting through so we actually see the pattern that we've got. So this is literally the first time I've seen it. Same with you, so fingers crossed this works, and if it doesn't then we'll have a little bit of a play around. But what we will get is all sorts of fun patterns. So having put it together, I do quite like it, but I think I would actually quite like to change it. I find it sort of quite static where it's going together in the points, and I wanted a bit more movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that bit to one side because I can use that for something else. I will take off an amount which I know I will need in order to do the large veneer that I'm hoping for. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create some twists. So for each side, I'm just going to pull up and then just pull over and as evenly as I can along each edge, just tip that over. Say on this edge when I do it, because I've got a little bit of leftover plum, I will probably add that in. So I'm not doing any more than that, just pulling it up and twisting it over, and that'll stop those corners looking quite so straight. And that's the thing, you never know what you're going to get, and that's why it's quite fun doing this. So you see that? I've just pulled that over. So I'm going to do the same with this one, and this one I think I will actually pull around so it's going back towards that one. So same thing, just pressing down and pulling up, and then just very gently pulling over, and then I will repeat with the final corner. Having got it down, reduced down to the size I want, I just took off the end, and you can see there it's the swells on either side, which just create more of a pattern when it kaleidoscopes together. So there's the how it was, and now how it is with those just added swells in. I just think it gives it a little bit extra rather than having sort of flat bits. It gives you the nice swells, for instance, and the same here, the swell to the flat bit. So what I'm going to do now is I will take 54 slices from this and put it together in a large hexagon veneer to show you what the pattern looks like. And if you want any tips or techniques or how to put it together in that way, again, I've already done that in detail in a couple of videos, so I'll put a link to those in the details below this one for you. And there is the finished pattern put together in a veneer, and you can see all the different elements, and that's how it comes together if you do it in a large hexagon kaleidoscope. So things I like this middle pattern, and that's because we had that longer Skinner blend of the blues and we squished them all together, so we've got quite a large amount of the blues. There is actually differentials in there, but you can't see it so much with the naked eye. And then because I added the rolls and the twists when I'd cut the piece down, that's why we ended up with those curved bits as opposed to just the straight bits on the end, which would have given us a different look in the middle. On the downside, when I did the curl, it made, because I did it at such a small size, not when it was larger, it then meant slight consistencies. So for me, there's slight consistencies where some of these bits join together. But overall, I think that first one went quite well. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you like the veneer, it is, along with others, up for sale in my Etsy shop, so pop over to those. Again, details are in the video below. And if you like this new format where I just play around and sort of come up with some ideas whilst we're messing around, let me know. And I can always do something similar in future. So something like a petal cane or a leaf cane or something along those lines, or just drop me some ideas in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, a huge thank you to those of you who subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you next time for some more polymer clay fun. That's it for now. Bye.